Are you tired of feeling like you're 6 months pregnant after every meal? You're not alone. In this episode of Gut Fix, I'm going to uncover the real reasons behind your bloating and give you practical steps to finally find lasting relief. You're not going to want to miss this one. Hey friend, welcome to Gut Fix. Are you ready to finally get rid of those debilitating digestive symptoms? Do you catch yourself staying up late Googling things like, what can I eat? Or how do I stop a flare? Or maybe you're just lying awake wondering, how did this ever happen to me? I'm Wendy, and I've been exactly where you are, desperately searching for answers, but determined to find natural solutions. And like you, I was overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there and unsure of what might really work for me. And so now in this podcast, I'm here to share with you what I've learned, how to listen to your body's signals, and uncover the common mistakes that might be standing in the way of your healing. So grab your favorite drink, pop in your earbuds, and let's dive into your health transformation together. Welcome back to another episode of Gut Fix. I'm Wendy Handy, your host, and certified functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and IBD, ulcerative colitis survivor. So today I want to tackle a topic that I know touches so many of you because I hear it all the time, and that is bloating. And so if you're constantly battling that uncomfortable, distended feeling in your belly, feeling like maybe you're 6 months pregnant after every time you eat, or you're just generally uncomfortable in your clothes, I want you to know this, that you are absolutely not alone. So many women like you tell me that they're tired of feeling like this and they just want to feel normal again. And that's exactly what we're going to dive deep into today. We're going to explore why you're experiencing bloating and abdominal discomfort. And then we'll go beyond just, the typical eat less or it's just gas, and really uncover the hidden root causes that, oftentimes and most of the time, actually, conventional medicine misses. And so we're going to be talking about everything from subtle food sensitivities to imbalances in your gut microbiome. And we've talked about both of these in previous episodes. And I don't want you to worry. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to just sit here and tell you what's wrong. I'm going to share practical, evidence-based strategies that you can start implementing today to finally find relief and reclaim your comfort. So if you're tired of the bloat and you're ready to discover some of the surprising root causes of your abdominal discomfort and finally unlock that path to lasting relief, then, this episode is for you. So let's get right on into it. When we talk about bloating, I'm not talking about a cosmetic issue, right? It's a sign that something deeper is going on in your digestive system. And often the solutions aren't as simple as just avoiding certain foods or food groups, though that can certainly be part of it. But we need to become health detectives, and we need to find why. Why do you have this problem? Why are you having bloating all the time? Because there is a cause. We just have to find it. And one of the most common culprits that I see, and one that is often underdiagnosed, is food sensitivities. And if you've listened to any of my past episodes, we've been talking a lot about that. And it isn't the same as a food allergy. So let's just be clear. A food allergy, you will have an immediate severe reaction when you eat a certain food that you're allergic to. Whereas food sensitivities, most of the time and oftentimes are delayed reactions. Sometimes, hours, even up to 72 hours after you've eaten something. And they can cause inflammation in your gut. That can lead to gas and bloating and pain, and even symptoms outside of your gut, like, that feeling of fatigue or brain fog. And so think about it. If your body is constantly fighting off something that it perceives as a threat and something that isn't normal and shouldn't be there, even if it's a mild one, that's going to create a lot of internal turmoil. And bloating is a very common manifestation of that. And so, some of the most common culprits that we find in food sensitivities are dairy, gluten, soy, corn, and sometimes even some of those really, seemingly healthy foods like eggs or nuts for some people. And the key here is personalization. So once again, there is never a one size fits all. What bothers one person may be perfectly fine for somebody else. And another huge piece of the puzzle is your gut microbiome. And we've talked about this a lot in past episodes, but this is that bustling community of trillions of bacteria, fungi, and other microbes that live in your digestive tract. And when this community is out of balance, maybe you have too many bad bacteria or not enough good ones, or even, bacteria growing in the wrong places, like in the small intestines. And that's what we call SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And it can lead to excess gas production, fermentation, and yes, you guessed it, even bloating. So these microbes play a massive role in how you digest your food, how you absorb your nutrients, and even how your immune system functions. So if they're not happy, I'm going to guess that probably you're not going to be happy either. And then finally, let's talk about inflammation. So chronic low-grade inflammation in the gut can be a silent saboteur. It can be triggered by, once again, food sensitivities, gut microbiome imbalances, but also stress, toxins, whether they're environmental, chemical, or even certain medications. So when the gut lining gets inflamed, it becomes more permeable. And you've heard me talk about it before, but that's what we call leaky gut, when that gut lining is, permeable. And it allows undigested food particles and toxins to get into your bloodstream. And that's going to trigger an immune response and contributes to systemic inflammation. So this inflammation can directly impact your gut motility, nerve function, fluid balance, all of which can contribute to that persistent bloating feeling. So now that we've identified some of these common root causes, food sensitivities, gut microbiome imbalances, and inflammation, what do you do about it? Because knowing the problem is one thing, and it's a good thing, but if you don't know how to, correct them, and you don't have any actionable steps, because that's what's really going to empower you when you know what to do. So here's a few practical evidence-based strategies that you can start implementing today. Now, they're not going to replace a personalized protocol because, once again, there's never a one-size-fits-all. But this is a good place to start. So you can start with a food journal or a symptom journal. It is foundational. And so for at least a week, ideally 2, but you want to meticulously track everything that you eat and drink, along with any digestive symptoms that you experience, especially if we're talking about bloating here. So you want to note the severity and the timing and look for patterns. Like, do you notice bloating after you eat dairy, for example, or maybe a couple of days or the day after you eat bread? This can give you clues and invaluable clues about some of your potential food sensitivities. But, it's not, when you do this and with food sensitivities, it's not about restricting these foods forever, but about becoming a detective and knowing what your triggers are. And, once you fix the gut lining, because it will cause the gut permeability, once you fix that, you can then slowly introduce some of these foods back in to see how you react. The second thing you can do is focus on eating whole and unprocessed foods. May sound obvious, right? but it's incredibly effective because processed foods often contain those ingredients that can irritate your gut. Things like artificial sweeteners, emulsifiers, and high amounts of refined sugars. You want to prioritize eating lots of fresh veggies, fresh fruits, especially berries, and lean proteins, and of course your healthy fats. And when you eat real food, your gut has a much easier time breaking it down, and you're feeding that good bacteria, allowing that to be prominent. And then the third thing that you can do is you can support your digestion by chewing your food thoroughly. So digestion actually starts in your mouth. So chewing breaks down your food mechanically and signals your body to produce digestive enzymes. So this is going to sound daunting, but you want to aim for 20 to 30 chews per bite. And I know that sounds like a lot because most of us don't come anywhere near that. I'm guilty, so I'm not calling anybody else out. But just really try to be mindful. And that 20 to 30 chews per bite is going to give you it's going to help you to break down and digest that food easily. And you don't want to drink too much water with your meals. A little bit is fine, of course, but too much can dilute your digestive enzymes and the stomach acid, and that's going to make digestion less effective. And then you want to eat in a very relaxed state. So remember, we've talked about in the past the gut-brain connection. And when you're stressed, your body diverts energy away from digestion. So before you start eating, try taking a few deep breaths and then eat very mindfully without distractions. So put the cell phone down, turn the TV off, and just be very mindful while you're eating. And being mindful is just being present in the moment, right? Not worrying about what's happening in 5 minutes or what happened 10 minutes ago, but just being very mindful. And then a fourth thing that you can do is consider, a short elimination diet. If your food journal points to some of the strong suspects, like your, gluten and dairy, corn, soy, those, a temporary elimination of those foods can be incredibly revealing. So for example, by removing gluten and dairy for 3 to 4 weeks, then you can reintroduce them one at a time and see how your body reacts. You want to do this with the guidance of a practitioner who's going to ensure that you're going to get adequate nutrition and also properly interpret the results. And I want you to know this is not a substitute for the Fit 176 food sensitivity test, because that is really going to tell you so much more easily than trying to eliminate. The elimination diets are really kind of challenging. But this is something that, if money is a challenge, then we can certainly go this route. And then the fifth thing that you want to do, or you can do, is explore targeted supplements. And I say do this judiciously. Depending on what your root cause is, certain supplements can be very, very helpful. So things like digestive enzymes, they're going to help your body break down food more efficiently, especially if you have low stomach acid or enzyme deficiencies. And note here, as we get older, we produce less stomach acid naturally. Add chronic stress into that, now you're really compromising that stomach acid. So digestive enzymes can be super helpful. Probiotics can help rebalance your gut microbiome. But you say that with caution again, doing this judiciously, because choosing the right strain for your specific needs is crucial. It's never a one-size-fits-all, and that's very challenging to do without knowing and doing some testing prior to. But you can use some herbal support, so things like ginger, peppermint, or fennel, they can all help soothe digestive discomfort and also reduce gas. Anti-inflammatory nutrients like your omega-3s, your turmeric, and certain antioxidants can also help calm gut inflammation. And again, this is where, personalized guidance is really, truly key, because you don't want to just, throw a bunch of supplements at a problem without first understanding what the underlying cause is. And you really don't want to throw a bunch of supplements at it anyway, because if you have a reaction, you don't know what you're reacting to, right? And then, the sixth thing you want to do is address your stress. So we talked about the gut-brain axis earlier. Chronic stress directly impacts your digestion. So, just throughout your day, incorporate, we all live in stress. I mean, there's just no way around stress. So we all have it. At different times, it might be a little bit more, but you want to incorporate stress-reducing practices into your daily routine. So things like meditation, yoga, those deep breathing exercises. And that is something, when I say deep breathing exercises, it's not like a big thing. You can sit down and just take 3 to 5 deep breaths. And that really resets your whole nervous system. And also you can spend time out in nature, or even just scheduling time for your hobbies that you like to do. A calmer mind is going to lead to a calmer gut. So, I know that this can feel like a lot, especially when you're already feeling overwhelmed by your symptoms. But remember, you're not stuck with this. Your body is incredibly resilient. It has the innate ability to heal itself. And by understanding root causes and implementing targeted strategies, you can absolutely find relief from bloating and reclaim your comfort. And my mission is to, empower women just like you to understand, why these things are happening and not just mask symptoms. Because when you truly understand these root causes, you can then create a very sustainable path to wellness, and you really start to learn to listen to your body, and something that truly honors you and your unique body. And so if you're ready to dive deeper, to truly uncover the hidden stressors affecting your gut and create a very personalized plan to finally fix your bloat and any other digestive issues, I invite you to visit my website, wendyhandy.com, to learn more about my personalized coaching programs. You can also find me on Pinterest and LinkedIn. I do post on LinkedIn at least twice a week. So thanks for tuning in for another episode. I hope that it's given you some valuable insights and some actionable steps that you can start using on your journey towards a bloat-free, comfortable gut. And remember that your gut health is truly the foundation of your overall well-being. And you deserve to feel vibrant and energetic every single day. So, until next week, stay happy and stay healthy. Hey friend, I hope today's episode brought you some real value. If it did, would you take just 30 seconds to share it with a friend who might be struggling to get her gut in check? And if you're feeling extra generous, leave me a review on Apple. It absolutely lights me up knowing that this podcast is making a difference for you. All right, it's time for me to grab my protein shake and get my gut happy. I'll see you back here next Tuesday for another episode of Gut Fix. And until then, stay happy and stay healthy.